Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video we'll be doing the full review of this Pixel 3 XL smartphone. And guys, I am sort of a Pixel fanboy. As you can see, this is the original Pixel that I have, the Pixel XL. This is the Pixel 2 XL, and now this Pixel 3 XL. And to be very frank, guys, when I initially got this smartphone, for the first 2 days, I felt this is the best smartphone in the world. And I would say in a sense it is, if camera is your highest priority. But overall, if camera is not your highest priority, is this the best smartphone? We'll find out. And guys, I'll divide it between the pros and the cons so that you can make an informed decision. And I was also using the Note 9 earlier, so I'll make some references to that. And even the iPhone 10. And I feel in many of the areas, actually, I was disappointed with the Pixel 2 XL because of its screen and other issues. And Google has really solved those issues with the Pixel 3 XL. But in some areas, in fact, they have gone the wrong way, I feel. So I'll talk about that based on my personal experience. And I've used this device with my primary SIM, that is Airtel, for 11 days. And I also traveled internationally during that time. So let's quickly divide it between the pros and cons, what I liked about this device, and what are some of the things that I did not find, and some peculiar bugs that I've noticed with this device. First, let's talk about the screen. This Pixel 3 XL is having the 6.3-inch screen, and I have to say the AMOLED panel that they have used now is one of the best that I have noticed. For example, if you have ever used the Pixel 2 XL, I was complaining that the screen quality was simply not that good on this phone. Colors were weird, but no issues like that on this smartphone. So in that respect, I would say Google did a very good job in terms of the screen quality. It's a 6.3-inch Quad HD Plus screen, and guys, it's a very good quality screen. Now moving to another thing that I've noticed, and I feel this is done the best in Pixel among any Android smartphone, and many people don't realize this, and you can't appreciate it until you have used this phone. In terms of haptic feedback, I have to say this is one of the best haptic feedback that I've noticed on an Android phone. With Pixel, within the UI and the apps, they have done something with the haptic engine, and it is the best experience that you get. You get that sensory experience when you're using the phone, and I feel none of the phones, even Note 9, etc., have that level of haptic feedback. It's actually pretty close to the iPhone. The iPhone has have that haptic engine, and Google has done a brilliant job in that aspect. So again, one of the best, I would say, in an Android phone. Now moving to another thing that I've noticed immediately, and if you even compare it with the Pixel 2 XL, the Pixel 2 XL also had that stereo speakers, but now with this new Pixel 3 XL, they have actually really improved the speakers. It's much louder, I would say, also has a depth, and in terms of loudness, definitely I would say it's actually very, very loud, and I would say it's one of the loudest Android smartphones that I've used. Earlier, if you would have asked me about 10 days ago, I would have said that the iPhone XS Max had the loudest stereo speakers, but now I would say in terms of pure loudness, these are the loudest that I've heard. So again, a very good job, and for the most time I actually never have to keep it at max volume. It's so loud. But again, there are some niggling cons also based on the speaker. I'll talk about the cons section. I'm baffled why Google did this, and I hope they fix this with the software update. I'll get back to that later. Now moving to another big leap that I have noticed with this Pixel 3 XL is in terms of the build quality. The Pixel 2 XL was not bad, but I won't say that the build quality was super premium on this for the price. But here, definitely the build quality is way more premium. It just feels a lot more solid when you hold it for the first time. And also now it has that glass back. Yeah, it can make the phone a little bit fragile. We'll talk about that later. But in terms of build quality and everything, it's like a Samsung phone. So I'll give full marks to Google in terms of that. In terms of build quality, if I would say the Pixel 2 XL was here, they have moved the build quality here with this Pixel 3 XL. It just feels way more premium to hold when you use the phone. It's very, very well built. Now moving to another thing, because of this glass back, now this Pixel 3 and even the Pixel 3 XL, this one, have wireless charging, and it works. I've tested that, so no issues regarding that. Another thing that I like about this Pixel 3 XL is that, and I'll compare it with other phones also like the Note 9 and this iPhone XS. The weight balance, though it's having a 6.3-inch screen, it simply does not feel that heavy compared to, let's say, the iPhone XS Max or even the Note 9. I would say the weight balance of this phone has been done very well. So full marks to that. Definitely the iPhone XS Max feels a lot more heavier compared to this Pixel, though the screen size is not a huge difference. This has slightly bigger screen, 6.5-inch. This has a 6.3-inch screen. That's the same case even with the Note 9, I would say. The Note 9, if when you use it, feels slightly heavier. So in terms of weight balance, they have done an excellent job. And even when I was using the phone a lot to type text messages, replies and stuff, it never felt out of balance. This is actually very important, guys, if you use the phone a lot. So excellent job what Google has done in that respect also. Now, moving to another thing that I liked is the battery life. The battery life is good on this. This has a 3400 milliamp hour battery. And I traveled also while using this phone. It was on international roaming, only on mobile data. Then also, and I was using GPS, etc. When you travel, you do that, take a lot of photographs. And even with very heavy sort of usage like that, at the end of the day, I had about 20% battery life. And during my normal usage, when I'm here in Hyderabad, I'm easily getting about 1.5 days worth of battery life on this one. I also like the fact that idle drain is actually very low on this smartphone. But one thing to note, guys, is that if you're getting this Pixel 3 XL, you have this always on display option is there. But if you notice, I have disabled it for always on. Whenever you pick it up or something, it lights up. With always on, I was not getting that much great battery life. So I've just switched it off. And in this mode, actually, it's giving me actually really good battery life. So battery life is also very good. Even if you're sort of a heavy user, it will easily last you for a typical day. And for most users, it will give you about 1.5 days worth of battery life. Another thing is, again, as it's a Pixel device, it's fast, fluid Android P that you're getting, no lag whatsoever. It has this new UI and all this thing, so it'll take a little bit of time getting used to it. But again, no lags or anything like that. It has the Snapdragon 845 chipset, so no issues regarding performance of this device. This comes with 4 gigabytes of RAM, and I wished it had 6 gigabytes. I'll talk about that later. But again, for most users, I would say you'll be really, really happy with this performance of this device. No lag whatsoever. Again, moving to cellular call quality, I use this with Airtel and no issues regarding cellular call quality. The earpiece quality is also very good. It's within the notch and it's loud and actually clear. Also, moving to IP rating now, it's IP68 certified. And now let's move to the cameras, which is the biggest thing about this Pixel devices. Both the 3 and the XL actually have the same camera. And I have to say, in terms of camera performance, though it's just having a single camera, just like the Pixel 2 XL, they have improved the camera slightly compared to the Pixel 2 XL, and they have made a lot of software improvements. And still, I would have to say the camera on this one is the best if you compare it with even other devices like the iPhone or even the Note 9. And here are some of the samples that I've shot with this Pixel 3 XL when I was traveling around and just taking casual snaps. And as you can see, the camera performance is actually really, really good. And also, just with the single camera, it does have that portrait mode. And with that portrait mode, it does a fabulous job. By default, it has that HDR plus, and due to that and the computation that it does on images, the images actually look really good on this one. Even now, moving to the selfie camera, now Google added a second camera, which is a wide selfie, and I really like that, particularly for vlogging. Actually, I feel the wide selfie works really well. I'll show you the sample later on, but again, even the front facing camera is actually really good, and I like the addition of that second camera. And now, but if we move to the video is good. It can record up to 4K, but sadly, I don't know why the 4K is capped max at 30 FPS, whereas other phones having the same processor like this Note 9 can go up to 60 FPS. So again, I don't know why they did that. But when we talk about the video quality, here is a sample of 4K video that I shot when I was in Malaysia. I've just watched this video. Shooting this with the rear-facing camera of the Pixel 3 XL, and I've set it to 4K, and I'm just walking around, guys, as you can see, to give you an idea how is the stabilization. I'm just walking handheld, and yeah, this is the footage. We are in Malaysia. Let me see if I zoom in like this. Yeah, you can zoom in within the video like this. Again, not a good idea because it's not optical zoom, but yeah, you can do that. So this is a very quick footage while just walking in 4K. So as you saw with that sample, the video quality was good, no issues. And even when I was walking around, the video was very stable in 4K. But for some reason, when you shoot the video with the rear facing camera, the audio is not very crisp. It is taking a lot of background noise, what I noticed when you're shooting the video with the rear facing camera. So guys, it's almost evening, and as you can see, I'm behind this Twin Towers. And again, I'm in the wide angle. I'm loving this wide angle on this new Pixel 3 devices. Shooting the sample with the front facing camera of this Pixel, and by default this is the mode, this is the regular mode. So now I've set it to the wide angle mode, and as you can see, I'm around the same area, but as you can see, it fills in a lot more. So this is the wide angle lens video sample with the Pixel 3 XL, guys. So to sum it up, I would say the camera is again the trump card for Pixel, and Google is able to do this with the software computation and the AI computations that they have. And again, it's still, I would say, one of the best. I only wish that they should have added a second camera here with a wide angle lens. That does make a difference. But again, the camera is really good. Yeah, I hope in the video department, particularly when we shoot the videos with the rear facing camera, they improve the audio pickup. So these were some of the good things about this device. And guys, I didn't do any gaming with this one, so I can't talk about the gaming aspects because during the last 7 days I never did any gaming on this. That's a frank thing. Now let's actually now move to the cons section, and these are some of the peculiar things that I noticed with this device, and I started to notice this only after a couple of days of usage. Now first, let's talk about if you take calls via the speaker phones. As I told you, the speakers on this are actually stereo speakers, very loud, front firing, and I thought the speaker calls would be also very loud, but even at max volume, the speaker calls were not that loud, even at max volume. I hope Google can actually fix this with a software update, because it was very strange. Because if you play back music, watch videos, the speakers are really, really loud. Also moving to the speaker, second thing that I noticed is that ringtone volume, even at max volume, is not super loud. And when I was traveling around and the phone was in my jeans pocket, many times I couldn't hear the ringtone. So I hope they increase the volume of the ringtone, again, because the speakers are really loud. I think so this is just a software tweak. They can actually increase the volume. Another thing is that again, even this Pixel does not have a physical LED notification light. I know many people who use Android rely on that, but this one simply does not have that. You have to rely on that always on display like this for notifications. Moving to video recording, again, as I've told you, I hope Google improves that and also adds the 60 FPS options, because other flagships actually do provide 60 FPS options. Personally, I don't use 60 FPS, but I know many people who actually appreciate 60 FPS. So I hope Google again implements that with a software update. Now moving to one peculiar thing that I've noticed with this device is Google says they are using Gorilla Glass 5 on this, fine, but the screen on this one can get easily scratched. You guys can't look at it. I even tweeted about it about 2 days ago. With even very careful usage, I got a big scratch here near the top front camera portion, which was not the case. This is my Pixel 2 XL, and I'm using this without any cases, guys. It's been over a year of usage and just got some minor nicks like here, but no scratches. But this one, even with careful usage, has started to get scratches, and I had to actually put a screen guard on this. So definitely this one is prone to scratches a lot more, so you have to be careful. If you're getting this, put a screen guard. And I won't blame Google on this because even the new iPhone XS Max had the same situation. After using it for about 2 odd weeks, I started to get some nasty scratches on the screen, and now I have put a screen guard even on this one. This was not the case with the iPhone X, which I had. So definitely these new smartphones are a lot more they simply get more scratches, so you have to be careful. So personally, I would say if you're getting this, do apply a screen guard. Yes, it doesn't look that great with the screen guard, but again, this device will definitely get scratches. So again, that is something you have to note. And in that respect, the Pixel 2 XL actually did a far better job in my opinion. Now moving to another thing is that these Pixel devices do cost a lot in India, and both the Pixel 3 XL and the Pixel 3 still have just 4 GB of RAM. Don't get me wrong, guys, it's good enough. and again you don't notice any lagginess or whatever. But I have now used several phones with 6 gigabytes of RAM and 8 gigabytes of RAM, and if I compare them side by side, definitely phones that are having 6 and 8 gigabytes of RAM, like let's say OnePlus and others, definitely hold more apps in memory compared to this Pixel and even the iPhone XS. Again, the iPhone XS Max also has 4 gigabytes of RAM, and if I compare with phones that were having 6 or 8 gigabytes of RAM, definitely they hold more apps. And this might not be an issue if you are not haven't been using a phone with 6 or 8 gigabytes of RAM. But with Pixel, I've noticed that some of the apps, after some time, let's say it's not a big deal breaker, but again, I use the browser a lot in multiple apps and jump back. When I was jumping back to, let's say, my Chrome browser, after about 20 minutes, it used to reload. If it simply had 6 gigabytes of RAM, this wouldn't have happened. And considering the price point of Pixel, they should have gone with 6 gigabytes of RAM. I have the same complaint even with the iPhone, guys. It's not like I'm giving same thing I noticed even with this new iPhone XS Max. This one also has, I would say, 4 gigabytes of RAM. They should have gone with 6 gigabytes considering the price point of these devices. I'm just nitpicking, but this is the personal experience that I have noticed because I use a lot of devices. I can actually compare. In that respect, I would say Samsung did a good job by giving 6 gigabytes of RAM on the Note 9. Now moving to another thing, and this is actually very peculiar. And I have used a lot of devices with Snapdragon 845 SoC. This is also having the Snapdragon 845 SoC, but with this Pixel 3 XL, I'm noticing that even with just almost normal 5 minutes of usage, not using games and stuff like that, a little bit of camera, a little bit of texting and stuff, replying to WhatsApp messages and all those things, the phone, this back portion tends to get a little bit warm with even just about 5 minutes of regular usage. Don't get me wrong, it's nothing like it's getting very hot or something, but I do feel the warmth on this phone compared to most other flagships that I have used. And it's not even summer here in India. I wouldn't say it's a big issue, but yeah, definitely this one is slightly getting more warmer at the back compared to other flagships that I have tested. So I thought to share that even with you. Again, guys, I haven't done extensive gaming on this, so can't comment on that, but looks like with extended gaming, it will definitely get a lot more hotter. Also, another bug that I have noticed with this one, and as I've told you, I've tested only with Airtel, and this might be a software bug. This is happening only sometimes, not every time. Let's say you are on a long time on a the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi works perfectly fine on this, no issues. But when I shut off Wi-Fi sometimes, and this is only happening sometimes, now it latched back to the mobile network, but sometimes it simply doesn't latch to the mobile network. So the data simply doesn't come. This happened once when I was in Malaysia, and in India it happens twice. Many times if I just go back, it works, but sometimes I had to actually go to the airplane mode, toggle it off. And today morning, surprisingly, for some reason, even when I was toggling airplane mode, it was not catching the mobile data, and I had to actually reboot it. So this is a weird bug that I noticed, and maybe it's just a software thing or something, but this is a minor bug that I have noticed with this one. And I hope Google fixes this one. And lastly, it's the notch about this. Many people complain about the notch, but I'll give you my frank opinion. Yes, I also noticed the notch for the first 2 days, but after that, I'm using the phone regularly and I hardly noticed the notch. Do I like the notch? No, definitely I don't like the notch, and it is ugly. But practically speaking, guys, after a couple of days of usage, you will simply not notice the notch. So I'm not worried about the notch, I would say. And yes, it adds that second camera because of the big notch, and I like that wide angle lens. And lastly is the pricing in India. I simply don't like the pricing in India because this is priced at 83,000, and with that price you are getting just 64 gigabytes of storage. Google should have given at least the 128 gigabytes of storage at that price point, in my frank opinion. For example, now I always used to complain Samsung now with the Note 9, the base variant comes with 128 gigabytes of storage, and considering the price point of this device, Pixel should have actually come with a minimum of 128 gigabytes of storage, but it comes with 64 GB of storage. And guys, as I've told you, I haven't loaded any games and stuff. It's been just about 10 days of usage, and already out of that 64 gigabytes, I have used about 22 gigabytes. Yes, cloud storage is there, and photos get uploaded. You have unlimited storage, but still, I feel for the price, it should have come with at least 128 gigabytes of storage. So these are the pros and cons of this device. Certainly in terms of camera, I would say, and you like the stock Android experience, this is the best Android phone out there. But considering some of the cons that I have mentioned, and considering the price point of this device, and camera, if it's not your highest priority, it makes me think, is this the best Android smartphone? Because now you're getting other smartphones like the Note 9, etc., for a lot less. So again, you have to decide if this is the best Android smartphone for you or not. To summarize, I would say what I like about this phone is the best haptic feedback that I have given on have seen on an Android device, and that really makes a difference. Also, again, if you talk about the camera, even with a single camera out there, I would say this is having one of the best cameras out there. And it has that speakers actually which are very loud, so you get that great multimedia experience with this one. And again, you can't beat that stock Android experience that you get with this Pixel device. Now moving to the cons, if I have to summarize, is that screen scratching. It's a real thing, guys, so you would have to actually put a screen guard on this one. And I even used this Note 9 without any screen guard now, and I've used it actually more. I used this one for almost a month, and this hasn't got any scratches on the screen. But this one, with just about 10 days of usage, I've got the screen. And also I'm a little bit worried about the slight heating that I'm noticing with this device if you use it for continuously for more than 5 or 6 minutes. And lastly is the pricing in India. So certainly it is among one of the best Android phones that you can get, but is it the best for your needs? That is something that you guys need to answer, and I've divided this phone between the pros and cons. Now it's up to you to decide if this is the right smartphone for you or not. Anyways, guys, if you still have any other questions regarding this Pixel 3 XL, do let me know in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer them. And guys, if you're still not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. That's it for now, guys. Hope to actually see you next time. Take care.